Thousands of miles south of Ukraine, I've heard these horror stories are taking place in one of the industry's newest frontiers.
It is every woman's dream to hear a son or a girl calling you mommy. But white people should not take advantage of Africa.
If I'm going to investigate the criminal corners of this marketplace, I need to speak with people who know criminals. That's why my Kenyan contacts put me in touch with these two women.
Do you think that the parents, the foreign parents, know that this is happening? Do they care?
They don't care. So you're feeling happy because you have children who are saying, hi daddy, hi mom. But did you know the mother has died? You will think about that and it will haunt you.
Mary is a former prostitute who now advocates on behalf of sex workers' rights. Her friend, who we'll call Michelle, does not want to be identified because she recruits Kenyan women into commercial surrogacy. She says it offers an escape from extreme poverty, if it's done right.
For me, carrying a baby, it's bringing a life in the world. So it should be treated with respect. And you should care about the person who's carrying the pregnancy. But in Kenya, women are suffering. Really, women are suffering.
Unregulated surrogacy markets are expanding around the world, especially in countries like Mexico, Colombia, and right here in Kenya. Mary and Michelle tell me it can be a very dirty business when it operates in Nairobi's shadows.
Do you hear a lot of these stories of women being exploited, them not being paid what they were told,
Yes.
violation of their rights?
It is high.
Really, you hear this a lot?
They share horrific stories of surrogates dying during childbirth. Others held captive for months. And all of it for the product growing in their womb. The entire process costs tens of thousands of US dollars, but many surrogates get paid as little as $500.
The money you're given, it's peanuts.
Surrogacy isn't technically illegal in Kenya. In fact, it's openly advertised. But there aren't any specific laws regulating it. That means couples must hire costly lawyers to navigate the country's child trafficking laws, which ironically ends up fueling cheaper black market operators like Michelle.
And I'm gonna go around this way?
Yeah, you go straight.
Straight.
Tonight, she plans to recruit another surrogate from inside a Nairobi slum.
This way, yeah?
Yes, yes. Also, not a very safe roundabout.
Got it.
We have a lot of snatchers here.
Snatchers.
Yeah. The men try to bully us. You lock the car.
Far away from Nairobi's tourist districts, Michelle offers to show me how she recruits surrogates.
So where are we going?
We're going to meet a lady that I'm expecting to be a surrogate on behalf of the couple that is in Germany.
Why do you think she'd be a good person to be a surrogate?
She's very smart. She's a single mother, and she's also a sex worker.
Oh, wow.
It turns out Michelle is a pimp. And the women she recruits are prostitutes. A fact she doesn't mention to the foreign couples.
Do you think there's a stigma attached to sex workers that would make parents perhaps not want to have sex workers as their surrogate mothers?
Yes, there is stigma because everybody knows what it means by being a sex worker.
Michelle claims she's doing this to empower the country's desperate women.
Here. Okay, so Michelle, you go out? Okay, we'll be here waiting.
All right.
She went inside. Here, can you see if you can hear her? You can hear?
No.
Okay, here she is. Can you hear her now?
Yeah. She's asking, why are you afraid? And she's saying, you know, sex work and carrying pregnancy is a different thing, and I didn't know what I'll go through. Michelle saying, I'm giving you business. Don't you want it? You don't want to live a better life? She's saying, if they will pay me better, and as long as my children will have a better life.
Oh, so she's into the idea.
I'll be in as long as I get money. They have agreed it's okay.
You feel good?
I'm happy, but we have to go. I'm pimping a man and lady.
Oh, so you want to go there now?
Yeah, to pimp.
In some black markets, it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad. I can't yet decide if I think Michelle is actually helping Kenyan women or just helping herself. She claims she's liberating them from the dangers of sex work, but she may be steering them towards an equally dangerous undertaking. The following morning, Mary takes me to meet a former surrogate called Ashley, who experienced these dangers firsthand.
My mom had 5 children. She was a single mom. I saw her, she was struggling to raise us, so I had to join sex work.
About a year ago, Ashley was approached by a surrogacy agent, a well-dressed Kenyan woman in a fancy car, who began grooming Ashley.
She comes and bring you a nice dress, nice earrings, heels, because that's what I like.
Once Ashley agreed to carry a child, the agent took her to a fertility clinic, where they implanted the embryo and promised to pay her just over $800.
Did you want to know any information about the parents?
Yeah, but they told me no, that's confidential. I'm getting paid not to know anything, just to give them what they want.
Ashley was given a strict set of rules. She couldn't tell anyone what she was doing. She couldn't contact anyone. She could never, ever leave the apartment.
You are not allowed to have friends.
Did you think it was strange that they didn't let you get out of the house?
They told me that it was security purpose. Maybe I'd run away with the pregnancy. Maybe I decided to abort.
Ashley's rent was paid for, and every week, someone brought her food.
Sometimes they'll send a man, sometimes a woman, and they were always wearing masks.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to see who it was? Even though they told you the rules was you couldn't tell anyone, why didn't you?
Because I've heard stories that if you go back from your deal, they can kill you.
What happened next almost did kill Ashley. Her body began cramping and bleeding. She was going into labor. Ashley was rushed to the hospital.
Did they know you were a surrogate, or did they think you were just a pregnant?
I wasn't asked any question. No one was talking to me about anything.
And you never saw the baby? You don't remember delivering?
It was a boy, but after I gave birth, I never saw anything. They said they are injecting me so that I'll stop bleeding because I was bleeding a lot.
And then you woke up and suddenly you were in a different hospital.
Yeah. And they told me you are free to go.
The agent who'd recruited Ashley was gone.
They don't even care whether I died. If I bled to death, it was not their concern. They got what they wanted and they disappeared.
So they didn't actually pay you the whole money?
No. They stole from me and used me.
Did you ever think of going to the police and telling them what happened to you?
I didn't have any evidence to prove what I'm saying is true.
In this murky industry with no clear regulations, a vulnerable woman like Ashley had little security. She never signed a contract. All she had was the agent's cell phone number.
I called that number that woman gave me. It was no longer in service.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and try again.
These girls, when you get them from the village, they are basically uneducated and they are poor. They are doing this because of desperation. So I try to corrupt their minds.
He tells me to call him Peter. He isn't the agent who cheated Ashley, but he plays the same role in the surrogacy supply chain.
Why do you use the word corrupt?
Because their dream is money. I turned their dreams into another thing. Isn't that corrupting somebody's mind?
But do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's not the right thing to do, but I'm in this business to make money. The girls who come to the city, they have just 2 dresses, 1 pair of shoes, and they have nowhere to sleep, even that night. That's why they contact me. Even today in the morning, I had 4 wanting to go.
Wow. So you recruit young female workers?
Young female workers.
Peter runs a legal employment agency that places Kenyan domestic workers in households throughout the Middle East. But that's not his only source of income.
Let me make it simple for you. My company is both a decoy and a genuine agency. You understand?
I do. Peter is simultaneously managing his employment agency and a black market surrogacy operation.
I lure them into a more lucrative shortcut to make money.
Do you make more money from sending these women abroad?
No, I make more money on surrogacy.
Even though surrogacy isn't illegal in Kenya, doing it lawfully can be challenging and cost prohibitive. And that's where Peter's operation comes into play. Peter is the powerful liaison between infertile foreign couples and some of Kenya's most desperate women. And he claims to have used these women to successfully deliver babies to clients from Russia, Turkey, the Philippines, and yes, the United States. For his part in the operation, he tells me he receives somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000.
Of that money that you receive, how much of that money goes to the surrogate mother and how much of that money goes to you?
We negotiate. Sometimes they're very difficult. It's me carrying the baby, I have to take more.
I mean, they have
It's
the
a give and
point.
take, and they have a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are in the perfect position to exploit
I
these
mean,
girls,
I can
right?
exploit them if I want.
And so do you?
Peter tries to persuade me that he's an honest broker in a dishonest business.
I am normally very good to them. Where would a girl like that make that kind of money in their life?
He tells me he's not the only one running surrogates in Nairobi's shadows.
A lot of people are doing it here in Kenya. A lot of people.
And why do you think that is? Why Kenya?
We get away with a lot of things in Kenya. So the plan now is,
We head to the safe house?
all right, we'll go back to the main road.
Peter keeps his pregnant surrogates in what he calls a safe house, far outside of town.
Are the surrogate mothers in the safe house the whole time?
The whole time, and I employ somebody to keep an eye. They have to be, undercover.
Are we close?
Not very far. Sometimes they have complaints. You know, human beings can never be satisfied. They say the safe house is not good. Because I'm being watched over like a kid. I want to be free. I want to walk around.
One of the things that Peter told us was that he prefers if the women stay in the house and don't go out for big walks or don't.
He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it.
I managed to convince Peter to wait outside while I interview one of his surrogates, Sylvie.
Do you ever leave the safe house, or are you here all the time?
I don't leave the house.
Ever?
I only go upstairs where we hang our clothes. For my exercise, I do it here. I walk here.
And so you never ever leave?
I don't leave.
Sylvie tells me she's a single mother who was desperately searching for housekeeping work overseas, until Peter convinced her that surrogacy would be much more lucrative.
My kids don't know, my family don't know, my mom doesn't know. Nobody knows apart from me.
In fact, Sylvie's family believes she is working in the Middle East. That's why Peter's safe house is located on the outskirts of the city, far away from anyone who might recognize Sylvie.
Can I ask you
I've
how much
never
money you're making?
calculated. That is private. I don't like sharing that part.
Can I just ask you if it's more than $5,000?
You know, it's less than.
So it's less than $5,000.
Yeah.
That may not sound like much, but it's a significant amount of money in a country where a third of all Kenyans live on less than $2 a day. And Sylvie tells me it will change her children's lives for the better.
He didn't force me. He didn't trick me. Maybe that's what he thinks, but
That's what he said. That's
Yeah.
how he said it.
I'm doing it from my heart. I'd really love someone to feel how I feel as a parent.
I came to this safe house expecting to meet a deliberately misinformed surrogate under Peter's control. But Sylvie knows that she's likely participating in a black market, one with no guarantees and potentially life-threatening risks for her and the baby.
Were you concerned about that? Did you ask those questions?
I did, but I had already decided I'll do it. When you come from poverty, any offer is an offer. As long as this offer brings money, you know?
It seems everyone I've met is taking calculated risks for the money. But there's still one missing link in Peter's supply chain.
So we've been trying to get a doctor to talk to us because one of the things about the surrogacy industry is that without doctors, it really doesn't work. And we've been hitting brick wall after brick wall. They stand to lose a lot, including their jobs, if they talk about this.
But Peter has convinced his doctor to meet us today.
I've heard he's super nervous, but I'm hoping that we can convince him to talk. Okay, he says he's here. I think that's him. Okay, doctor. What do you think would happen to you if you were caught?
One, I'll lose my license. Two, I'll fall into jail. For a couple of years, I don't know. And I'll definitely lose my family.
This is the doctor that's the linchpin in Peter's black market operation. While Peter oversees the foreign couples, the surrogate recruitment, and the safe houses, It all means nothing without a medical professional who can supervise the pregnancy. And because the doctor works at one of Nairobi's best public hospitals, he has the perfect cover, delivering illegal surrogate babies without raising suspicion. Doc, how did you get involved in the surrogacy business?
It took them a lot of time to convince me because I didn't want to get involved in it.
And so what convinced you to do it then?
I did it for the money. The other reason was I looked at the ladies who are getting into this business and I thought this is a big break for them. They're going to make money out of it. How can I make it safe for them? I don't want anybody dying on my hands.
Sub-Saharan Africa has the world's highest maternal mortality rates. A Kenyan woman is 15 times more likely to die during childbirth than a woman in the United States. The doctor tells me he personally knows of Kenyans who've died delivering babies for foreign couples. But because this is illegal, their families never find out what happened to them. Are you getting emotional talking about this?
Yeah, definitely. Our daughter. What if that was my daughter?
How many other doctors are out here in Kenya doing this?
I think there are a dozen of us doing it.
A dozen?
Yeah.
The doctor tells me he's delivered surrogate babies for Australians, Canadians, and Americans. Sometimes 5 babies a month. So many that he's lost count. So why did you agree to talk to us?
Well, I agreed to talk to you because once this is out to the world, we begin to get proper solutions, proper legislation to make it legal. If I keep quiet, who's going to talk about it?
The doctor gives me a lead on where to head next. He says he only delivers the babies. He doesn't create and implant the embryos. That has to happen inside one of the 6 state-of-the-art IVF clinics. We know there's an existence of this black market, and this black market doesn't exist without an IVF clinic. It just doesn't.
I can guarantee to you that none of our surrogacy arrangements is done underhand. All of it is well above board.
Dr. Joshua Nori is the medical director at the Nairobi IVF Center, the biggest fertility clinic in the country, where they perform up to 100 embryo implantations every month. But how can you be sure that the surrogate mothers that you're implanting aren't in fact going to be exploited later on?
Yes, when the client falls into the hands of an agency, it's difficult for us to know what is happening. So we may not have control over that.
Dr. Nore assures me that his clinic takes great pains to vet their surrogates and weed out criminal operators. But because the IVF process is highly specialized, it's clear that at least one of Kenya's 6 clinics is implanting embryos into the country's black market surrogates. What I still don't understand is how the babies are getting out of the country. In Kenya, custody can only be transferred to the biological parents through the court system, but that can take months, even years, which sends frightened foreigners into the arms of the underworld.
If it is completely illegal, then how are the parents being able to take the kids out of the country?
So the birth certificate will come out with the names of the couple.
So the paperwork was forged?
Yes,
But the doctor knows the baby didn't come from...
yes, we have a doctor there who deals with such.
Oh,
there.
but you pay the doctor?
Yes.
I came to Kenya in search of a black market that operates in Nairobi shadows. Instead, I uncovered an open secret, one that takes place in broad daylight. And after everything I've witnessed, it's hard to believe the couples from places like Australia and America are kept completely in the dark.
Do you think they know that...
I tell them.
You tell them, look, what you're doing is actually illegal?
It's illegal, so we have to keep this in confidence.
And what do they say?
You know, for desperation of having a child, they play with my son.
They do.
They do. Because the child is present.
But like so many industries, without strict regulations, profits are valued over people, even if those people are pregnant women and unborn babies. In these places, everyone is at the mercy of the black market.
And can I ask you, Agnes, how much money are you making from surrogacy? $25,000?
Yes.
Agnes is another sex worker Michelle recruited. But the payment she's been promised sounds extremely suspect. It's far more than any surrogacy offer I've encountered in Kenya.
That's a lot of money. Is she really going to get $25,000?
Yes, she'll get. But we are going to transfer that money into her account maybe on Friday.
Agnes is already 7 months pregnant. She's carrying a child for a German couple.
Have you received any money whatsoever, Agnes? Nothing yet. Doesn't part of the money should come before?
Yes, I told her when the money will be deposited, I will take it to her place. It is okay.
But that's really risky, considering you're already 7 months pregnant. Are you sure you're going to receive that money? You trust Michelle?
From what I've seen, trust isn't enough to protect Kenya's surrogates from exploitation. And even if Agnes receives all the money she's been promised, her story will be the exception, not the rule.
I know there is another woman being lied to me like me. They won't get paid. They'll use them and dump them.